Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 14, Chapter 41, Meditation, Part 2 of 2. Calamities happen when buddhi is not alert. Be aware of the transitoriness and the interrelationship of the body, the senses and the mind. What of the buddhi, intellect? It is the source of man's decision-making capacity and is known as the antakarana, inner consciousness. It reduces confusion, calms conflict, and determines doubt. When we say, "My inner voice has resolved thus," it is buddhi that is referred to. Buddhi is also referred to as the antaratman, inner self. On the lowest plane of existence is the body, the physical sheath. On a higher plane is the sense complex, the 5 senses of perception and the 5 of action. The mind is on a still higher plane and the buddhi on an even higher one, so that it is nearest to the core, the Atman. When a chauffeur is sought for, the owner of the car will select a person who is an expert in the art of driving, a man of character and a person who will be obedient to his employer. In all respects, he must be a good and useful employee. When the chauffeur of the material car is expected to be so skilled and virtuous, how much more so must the buddhi, the chauffeur of the Atman, be? Buddhi has no right to give a ride to anyone without the knowledge and permission of the Atman. Buddhi should subject to scrutiny all the wishes of the mind. It is only when buddhi is lit by the splendor of the Atman that it can recommend the course of action to the senses through the mind. Calamities happen only when the buddhi is not alert or is circumvented by the mind. Let buddhi take all the time it needs to sort out the pros and cons. Haste makes waste. Waste results in worry, so do not be in a hurry. Haste leads to confusions and blunders which cause disappointment and anger. Anger has to be overcome by guiding the mind onto peace and equanimity. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That mantra, sacred peace chant, will quieten the waves of anger. Not doing one's best is treason to oneself. Man can have no fear when he negates his objective composition, declaring, "I am not the body, the senses, the mind, or the intellect." There is no benefit if a man flees to the forest to escape attachment to the non-real. Renunciation can be cultivated without such an extreme measure. Doubts, too, will haunt a person until he cognizes the truth. When doubt enters through the front door, faith departs through the back one. Doubt comes upon people like a heart attack. It overwhelms a man all of a sudden. The Gita says, "Sanshayatma vinashyati." The doubter is destroyed. So gurus must enter upon their task with full faith. The ideals of the Balvikas, child development, movement, are the highest. The task of fulfilling them is the holiest of tasks. Knowing this and yet not doing one's best is indeed treason to oneself. Mere talk cannot go far. Man is concerned with the moon that is hundreds of thousands of miles away, but he is not concerned with his nearest neighbor. Do not instruct or instill in children magnificent ideas and colossal thoughts. Teach them small practical ideas and simple modes of behavior through your own example and loving exposition. Only the teacher of teachers can direct the Balvika's gurus, that is to say, only he who has mastered the process and problems, the significance and secrets of education can so direct. He must be able to correct the gurus and convince them. It might happen that the state presidents may not all have these abilities, though their abilities might well be great in other aspects of organization. They may have specialized in other fields of service. So my suggestion is that the state president should not be related in any way with the Balvikas. He has to organize, supervise, and give guidance to the Bhajana Mandalis, the Seva Samitis, the Seva Dal, and other service units. The Balvika's gurus will benefit more through the very apex of the organization. Gurus should not indulge in jealousy. Women in charge of the Balvikas are easily moved by excitement or dejection. So it is better they do not immediately carry their problems to the state president. By the time they communicate with the central authority, the emotion would have cooled down. They can be directed more firmly by the center, and they will follow the directions more willingly if they emanate from the center. So they have hereafter to write to the convener Balvika's Gurus Prashanti Nilayam for advice, direction and redress, and send a copy of the letter to Indulal Shah, Secretary, World Council. I shall look into all these letters myself. Of course, our Balvika's gurus should not indulge in jealousy or fault-finding. They can undertake the task of teaching only after they rid themselves of such traits. If gurus talk ill of other gurus and promote misunderstanding and factionalism, the children can never improve. So resolve now to adhere to the right path. If two gurus quarrel or become unfriendly, both will be removed. No inquiry is necessary. We condemn both for having been involved. One poisonous insect can destroy an entire crop. Since we have not been very strict all these years, we find the number of Balvika's pupils is very low, even with such a large number of gurus. Teach children equal validity of all faiths. Each guru must serve at least 100 pupils in 1 year. Only then can we have at least 100,000 or more getting the benefit. There are 9 crores and 26,000 children in our country, boys and girls aged below 10. Those below 16 are 22 crores and 600,000 in number. At the rate at which we are training the children, when can we reach this vast number? The present tortoise speed will not help. The aspirations and ambitions of youth are being inflamed at great speed, and you have to canalize them at equal speed. Only then can a balance be secured. The rains fall profusely, the water seeps in and is stored underground. But man pumps the underground water faster and in greater quantity than it is collected below the soil, and so drought intervenes. Therefore, go fast, but be steady and sure about your work. Another point. You have to teach the equal validity of all faiths. Teach them through quotations from the Bible, the ideals of Christianity. So too, use the sacred texts of Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, Islam, etc., to acquaint them with the ideals held aloft by those faiths. Also, tell them the stories contained in the scriptures of all religions. Do not belittle any one religion or give predominance to another. There was a suggestion that children must be taught the entire Gita. That is a mistaken view. Of course, if they desire to do so through their own ardor and enthusiasm, do not stand in their way. But what we have to do is to place before them in sweet, simple style the teachings of all faiths. The Sai religion is the harmonious blending through love of all religions. Though some followers of other faiths feel that the Sai religion is contrary to theirs, we should not entertain similar feelings. Ours is the totality, the sun, so we should not limit or restrict our vision. Lead the children along the joyous path of truth. Let your faces ever shower smiles, smiles sprigging from the bliss you earn from seeing the happy faces of children. Do not fall into the traps of anger, jealousy, and pride. You can avoid this through steady and sincere devotion and attention to the task that you have undertaken. May the children you serve become heroes in the revival of the ancient glory of their motherland. End of Part 2 of 2. All India Bal Vikas Gurus Conference, November 21st, 1979. All good things have to be done the hard way. Ease and elevation cannot go together. Sri Sathya Sai Baba.